Okay, take one, category one.
We have questions for category one, the beginning of new move production. First question from Susie4673 from YouTube. What got you into movie making, and how old were you when you did your first movie, a reenactment of the Berlin File?
Well, I got into movie making when I was very young. I was about 3 or 4 when I discovered the power of movies and the power of great television series. And when I was around 8 years old, I decided, well, if I want to get into movies, I don't know anybody in Hollywood. I need to learn how to make my own movies. So my love of writing, reading, acting, and telling stories just kind of came back and revitalized me when I was in high school. I was 16 years old when we did Berlin File, and that was actually a really fun time. I learned a lot just from 2 or 3 days of working on it.
That's awesome. We have the second question from Oscar Osorio from Paraguay. His question is, what made you start 10 years ago?
Well, 10 years ago, I had just finished my junior year of high school, which was the most stressful year in high school. And I ended up returning to that form of artistic expression, filmmaking and acting, which would come a little bit after, as a means of escape and kind of moving on from that very stressful time. And it was very cathartic for me. It gave me a better outlook for the future and a little more hope, like, okay, I can make something happen.
Okay. From our biggest fan in Russia, Vitalik390 on YouTube. How did the idea for the films come about, and what inspired you?
Well, I figured it'd be easier to do reenactments and maybe move my way up to fan films because I knew I wasn't ready to write original stories. I wanted to grow as a writer, as a director, as an actor. So doing a reenactment would give me the unique challenge of trying to, on a low budget with very little experience, no budget really, trying to make something look as professional and as respectful to the source material as possible. I thought it was great practice. And I have learned a lot from doing really only the one reenactment and the one fan film. Well, as for inspiration, the feeling I get when I watch classic cinema, iconic films from the past. There are a few good ones that I've seen from more recent years, but I'm hard pressed to find that feeling of immersion, passion, and love of craft that I get when I watch classic cinema. Same thing with classic music. I'm a lover of those because they take me back to when I was young, and they give me back that same feeling of, wow, I've stepped into another world, another great, amazing world. So I want to bring that feeling back in the projects that I work on.
Okay, so we have questions for category 2, from the Berlin File to the Penitent Thief, 2015 to 2020. First question is from Oscar Osorio. What did you learn from making The Fixer? Which film from your catalog are you most proud of, and why? Last question, what was your biggest challenge throughout all your films? How did you overcome it? And is there any past mistakes that you're grateful for?
Well, with Fixer, which was a unique challenge because it was my attempt at a first original project, and we were filming in South America, in Paraguay. The biggest challenge I faced on that film, and every project I've worked on, is making sure I hire reliable people. Because on every project, there has been at least one bad apple who won't show up, who will not answer his or her phone, and everybody's left hanging, and then the project will either die or we have to reschedule and recast. So I'm a little firm during the hiring process, and I'm pretty firm in general with people showing up on time, to make sure that there is respect for the cast, crew, and the project. But other than that, it's also taught me that when you get good people, hold on to them. Now, I'm most proud of Max Payne Perdition. I would have said any of the earlier films, but the scale of Max Payne Perdition, the talent we had working with us, the work that I put into the story and everybody else put in makes it easily the one I'm the proudest of, because it was the one that seemed the most impossible, and we managed to do it.
Last question from Ian at Favela Films on YouTube. What inspired A Penitent Thief?
That came about from my disillusionment in college. There's kind of a pattern there. I started New Move Productions in high school because of disillusionment with junior year, and I wrote Penitent Thief because of my disillusionment with college, classmates, professors, and so on. And that biblical story started to echo around in my head a lot more at that time. The ideas of redemption, of accepting the wrong you've done. So I said, okay, for the first project I'm going to do that's 2 steps away from a feature-length indie film, I want this to be the direct main inspiration for it.
So, questions on category 3, Max Payne Perdition.
The biggest category.
Yes. Susie, how did you come about writing and making a movie that's based on Max Payne's personal life? Oscar Osorio from Paraguay also asked this question.
Yeah, well, because it was Max's character and his tragedy that made me such a big fan of the series. I mean, aside from James McCaffrey's iconic performance, I find that a lot of fans of Max Payne really are drawn to Max's tragedy as well, and how that altered his character, you could say brought out different sides of him. It's very relatable to go through such a traumatic experience and then find that you're not the same and you're never going to be the same. So I found that would be very attractive because I find that there are a lot of people disillusioned with life right now the way it is. For many years it's been like that, and if they find a character who's able to pick himself up from the worst possible trauma, I think it would be a good message of hope and healing for ourselves and for the future.
Absolutely. Second question, how hard was it being the main character and overseeing every aspect of your movie?
That's best reserved for an entire video on the subject. It was incredibly difficult. Was it very rewarding? Yes, but it took a lot of work. It took years to direct everybody, make sure I sounded like McCaffrey, edit everything, get sound, music, and so on and so forth. But the main thing I take away from it is that it was very rewarding. I did learn a lot. I got to put out a really big project, my first feature-length film, and a lot of good has come of it so far, and I hope more good follows.
Me too. Okay. How do you feel about the attention Max Payne Perdition has gotten?
Very happy, very pleased. It's not in the tens of thousands of views yet. I'm hoping we get there because everyone involved was very talented, very dedicated, and everybody deserves to have their time in the spotlight for this amazing film that we all made together.
Great. This question is from Kalius A. Donahue on IG. He's asking, how did it feel to make an actual Max Payne film and actually putting in the most important key details for what it should look like?
He has a long question,
He
right?
certainly
Yeah,
does.
he did. Well,
Yeah.
Kalius, like I said, that one is best saved for a whole behind the scenes, specifically on Max Payne Perdition. But again, it felt very rewarding. It was very difficult. We were very selective with who we were hiring. We needed people that would either resemble the roles or be able to pass as such. Like Michelle, for example, took a lot of time to hire because it was hard to get someone who had that firm gentleness that I felt Michelle would have. But like I said, it was a great experience. I learned a lot from it, and despite the fact that it was a very painful production, I'm really happy it came about. And I think everyone involved learned quite a bit about themselves, their talent, their capabilities, and they can use that moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. This question is from Olga from Belgrade, Serbia. She is our biggest fan in Serbia.
And she had a lot of questions.
Yes, she
Yes,
did.
she did.
So her first question was, how did you learn about the Max Payne trilogy? What is your favorite part of the trilogy? Do you think it would have been better if they left Mona alive so she could appear in the third game? And lastly, was it hard to imitate Mr. McCaffrey's voice?
I'll start with the first one. My family and I learned about Max Payne from the movie in 2008. I was 9 when that movie came out, I think. Yeah, I was probably around 9. And we watched that first. We had no idea it was a video game series. Decent action sequences, but something felt off about the whole movie. In high school, I discovered the game Max Payne 3 when I was shopping at GameStop, and that was it. As for my favorite in the trilogy, I love all of them for different reasons. Max Payne 1 started it all. Max Payne 2 improved on everything in Max Payne 1. And Max Payne 3 had McCaffrey's best performance. And for me, it had the best gameplay out of all 3. So I think they're all really amazing in their own ways. Yes, it was pretty difficult to imitate James throughout the movie. You'll hear in certain points my voice sounds a little strained or pinched because of the tight schedule we had to meet film festival deadlines. I recorded quite a bit in one day. So while it was difficult, I was also really shocked that so many people really enjoyed the sound of the voice, and a lot of people were saying, "Wow, that really sounds like James," which still shocks me. I guess it's easy for me to tell the difference because I know who's who, but I'm glad people enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to honor his work and his legacy through the dedication I had.
Yeah, you certainly did.
Did I miss a question from her?
Yes, you did.
Oh, for Mona, right. So it would have been interesting to see if Mona had survived. It totally would have changed the course of Max Payne 3. It would have changed his future, and who knows, it might have led to the exploration of self that we deal with in Max Payne Perdition, because they would have to ask each other, why are we really attracted to each other? And I think that while there may be a physical attraction there, it was also because they were both bonded by the grief that they shared. But it would have been interesting. I think it's also intriguing to see Rockstar's take on what happened to Max after her death. I didn't like everything they did in the story, but it was a pretty good story. And again, it gave us James' best performance as Max, and that makes it easily one of the most iconic games ever made.
Okay, so we have last question is from S. Kitazawa, sorry, at Kizawa259 on X Twitter, all the way from Osaka, Japan. What inspired you to amplify the psychological side of Max Payne title? Do you feel as if it was unexplored despite more physical notions in Max Payne 3?
That's a great question. And, well, again, it was the character and the tragedy that had drawn me to the series. Seeing that there was something far greater than just amazing action, which is present in all 3 games. And that's a good point that you make, that there were more physical notions of Max's psychology in Max Payne 3, dealing heavily with his fall into alcoholism and return to smoking and painkiller abuse. It was just quite different from what Sam wrote in the first 2 games, where you could explore Max's psyche through nightmares. And I kind of missed that in Max Payne 3. I played 3 first, then the first and the second, and I said, oh, now I understand why some fans didn't like the shift. It made sense for him to fall into the alcohol and the smoking and the pills, but I wanted to bring back the nightmares and that exploration of Max's psychosis and trauma, explicitly have that be the guiding force of the story, so that I could have Max go through all of that and find a better path forward. I wanted to have something brighter for him to look forward to because of how much I enjoyed the character.
So these are personal fun time questions. Personal fun time questions from Susie. You were a cameraman on Max Payne to cut costs. So how hard was it?
It was pretty hard because there's lots involved in shooting a movie. Different positions where you have to be as the cameraman, different angles, different scenes, different lenses to use, whole lot of things involved in it. This is my first time being the main cameraman in a project, especially as big as Max Payne Perdition. I've done work before, except now as the main cameraman, more like secondary. It was pretty hard, but I did shockingly well.
So did you enjoy being a cameraman?
I do when the results are right.
Great.
From Olga, who is the older brother, you or Felipe?
I'm the older brother. I'm 26 and Phil is 25. And we really wish we could go back 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, next question. Your hobbies except screenwriting?
Bunch of real nerdy stuff. I enjoy reading, always have ever since I was little. Love to read about things like history, psychology, philosophy. Past couple years I've been getting into reading the Bible. I enjoy listening to classic music. Love watching classic movies and series with my family. Do you see a pattern here with the classics? And every now and then I like to go for a drive or a walk and just think about things and get lost in the environment rather than the hectic day-to-day stuff of rushing to work, hopping on a bus, and coming back, just have enough time to shower, sleep, wake up, repeat. And one hobby I really loved when I was young, though I wasn't very good at it when I was young, is martial arts. It was interesting for me, the bookworm, to actually try something physical and get very interested in it. And while I wasn't very good at it when I was young, I think I have a better understanding of it now. The problem is that I was in better shape when I was younger. So if I ever bring that into movies, which I really want to, I would love to have a little more of a focus on martial arts and what that means for the story. If I'm in it, I'll have to get in better shape.
Okay, last question. Countries you would like to visit?
Top of the list is Japan. I would love to visit Osaka, Tokyo, Hokkaido. I was always, anybody who's known me since high school, I grew very interested in the culture, the history, and for years I've wanted to go there and just feel it for myself. South Korea as well. I got interested in them thanks to their movies. With Japan, it was learning about the culture, their movies as well. Anime, of course. For Korea, I got interested in their psychological films. They write some really good films.
What are your hobbies?
Playing the guitar, occasionally drawing, and frequently listening to music.
Okay. Any particular countries you'd like to visit?
Yes, Japan, South Korea, the Bahamas, and especially Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
Now we have the advice column.
Okay.
Question from Oscar. Any advice for starters in this business?
A lot, but to keep it brief, well, it depends on what area you want to focus in filmmaking. So I can only speak from my experience where I kind of do everything. Seek to become a better writer. If you become a better writer, then you're able to bring order to the chaos within all of us. You're able to better understand yourself, apply that to understanding other people, and become a better planner. Have a plan, have a structure. It's never going to go according to plan. But you need that to fall back on when things inevitably go wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Foundation.
And make sure you are worrying about making good, worthwhile connections. Try to strive for the lifelong connections. You're not making friends. That's the important thing. You're not going to make friends with everybody, but you need connections because, unfortunately, it's not so much about talent these days. It hasn't been like that for a long time. It's about who you know and who they know.
The next question is from Ryan at Ryan Paduano. I'm not sure I'm correcting that.
Sounded fine.
Yeah. And at Some Movie Frames on IG. His question, what's the best advice you have for someone that's just starting out as a filmmaker? And the other, how has the longevity of new move productions help improve the quality of your work?
Well, I kind of addressed Ryan's first question with Oscar, but something to add on is make sure you're spending money responsibly. Don't just go and splurge money on all this expensive equipment and then you end up wasting your time when you haven't even developed all the other skills necessary to bring a project to fruition. Try to get deals where you can, but when it comes to audio, make sure you're investing the right amount in audio equipment, because if nobody can understand what your characters are saying, nobody's going to keep watching a pretty film. As for the longevity of New Move Productions, well, keeping it something for 10 years, you're hopefully bound to learn something, and I've learned a lot about working with other people. I've learned a lot about myself, what I'm capable of, areas that I need to improve on, my own flaws. And as with anything, any career you pick, any passion you pursue, you should be figuring out more about yourself as time goes on. You should be seeking to better understand the world around you. And this may seem a little out there, but I find this to be true with every such maneuver we make in life, every step forward we take. Seek to understand truth and put that at the forefront of everything you do. Truth and good morals. Something else that you should always keep in mind is be prepared to fail, be prepared to fall. When you pick yourself back up as many times as you need to, you will find out if this is the path you're meant to walk, or if you're meant to do something else with your life. Don't be sad if it doesn't work out. Because the whole point of living right is to find truth and find what it is that you're meant to do on this earth. So if it doesn't work out, it's fine. Because now you know what you're not going to do. You have to find what you're meant to do. But if you have even an inkling of a feeling that this is just a bump in the road, I can make it if I keep trying and keep learning, then keep at it. That's the best advice I can give anybody trying anything that they feel a potential love or passion for. Yeah, I think doing this for almost 10 years straight has taught me, yes, this is something that I'm good at. I know how to get things done in this field, and I think I can make it. And if ever I find that it's no longer financially feasible or otherwise for me, I will walk away from it and use what I've learned to find the right path. But I think I'm on the right path right now, God willing.
So we've got two questions on the future of New Move Productions. First one is from Nightfire141 on YouTube. What are your future projects or ideas you'll be making?
Well, I don't like to talk too much about what I'll do until I have a set plan and I can get at least 10% of it done in pre-production. But I have been working on a few things. One I started writing a few years ago, a short film, an original one because, well, I'd like to make money from this now. There's also a fan film I've been working on, won't say where it's from, because it's not financially feasible for me to do that. It's going to be a lot shorter than Max Payne Perdition, probably easier to do, but I do have to get a new cast to fit that world that I want to explore. I'm very passionate about both stories, so I think the original one's going to come first. Hopefully sooner than we think, but right now I'm working at the job that does make me money, saving up as much as I can for my own future, and I'm going to see if it's feasible, or rather when it's feasible to start it, because I'm definitely going back to filmmaking one day soon.
Last question is from Oscar. Is there any new genre you'd like to explore in the next years?
Top of the list would have to be romance. I haven't been able to write a romance story that I've been able to finish yet, but definitely that. They don't make romance films like they used to. They feel very impure to me now. So I would love to get into that genre and give people a little more hope for true love and romance, because these things do exist. It's just that we're so bogged down with the day-to-day in life that it's really hard to go strive for something that deep. Other genres like horror, good old-fashioned action, espionage. I'd like to do a war film or a biblical film one day. All of these films have iconic classics that have greatly inspired me and immersed me into their worlds and have somewhat shaped my worldviews. So I would love to bring that sort of thing back in whatever project I explore. There's a reason why it takes so long to write things. I want to make sure it has that impact now. I cover all my bases, and it can be not just entertaining, but it can have a lesson at the end of it. one thing to always remember, well, one thing that I like to tell people is that the best stories have great lessons at the end of them. And that is something that guides me when I write and when I make my projects.
Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for the continued support. Please keep it up, and we'll be seeing you real soon. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the 10th anniversary Q&A special for New Move Productions. I want to thank everyone who sent in questions. First, to Susie, thank you so much for all your love and support on YouTube. To Oscar, thank you for always supporting us, all the way down in Paraguay. To Vitalik, our biggest fan in Russia, spasiba, thank you. To Ian of Favilla Films, thanks man for sending in your question. Everyone go to his channel and watch Fair Game. I was the villain in his film, and he starred in Penitent Thief with us. Go check out his channel. Kalius, who promoted us multiple times on Instagram at Kalius A. Donahue. You'll find his name in the special thanks section of Max Payne Perdition. Thank you so much, Kalius, for all your support. Olga, our biggest fan in Serbia, thank you so much for always tuning in, supporting, commenting. Kitazawa-san, all the way down in Osaka, Japan, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much for sending in. For Nightwing, another big fan on YouTube, thank you for your great question for the future. I was waiting for someone to ask that. Ryan, down in Jersey, and us, and we here in New York. Student filmmaker for Max Payne Darkest Days, go check out his film. It's nominated at the Brightside Film Festival, and I voice Max in that. He reached out to us, we did our first ever collab. Go check it out, be kind. He's a student filmmaker and he's got some great potential. To my crew, I want to thank my crew. Mom, Dad, Phil, first and foremost. A lot of love, respect, and my warmest thanks for always chipping in on every single project I've done. To Oscar down in Paraguay, he's also one of our longest serving crew members, has been since Fixer. Noel Xavier Vadi III, right here in New York, started working with us on Penitent Thief and has been working with us since then. Thank you. To Jason Ruan, one of my dear friends from high school, thank you for coming in on short notice for Max Payne Perdition and stealing your scene as Delta in the final shootout. Victoria Liu, a good friend of mine from college, thank you so much for designing the poster of the movie. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Christopher Abdul, the man we don't see, but he drives us to whatever location we need for filming. Good friend of the family. Thank you all so much. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you a lot sooner than you think. Take care.